Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Other than the fact that the Houston Astros are cheaters, the players really are likable on that team. Hey, the New England Patriots have been known to cheat also. Tonight you're going to get a chance to see how poorly baseball promotes itself. If I'm in charge of the World Series baseball production, you'd see Willie Mays making that catch against Vic Wertz, Kirk Gibson hitting a homer off Dennis Eckersley, Bill Mazeroski, Kirby Puckett, and Joe Carter. What the heck? Throw in Babe Ruth pointing or not pointing to the Wrigley Field bleachers. That's the beauty of the game and why the World Series is the best it's got. I guarantee you won't see that kind of stuff, though. Bud Shaw is here tonight. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year. Seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Bud Shaw of WKYC.com is here. Hello, Mr. Shaw.
Les, how are you?
I'm fair. No, I'm good.
Did you watch the Patriots-Jets game last night?
I did. Well, as much as I could, yeah.
Did it change your opinion of what might happen on Sunday?
No, my opinion was what I saw last night.
Well, I think it added to the perception that this might be one of Belichick's best teams and that the Browns are in serious trouble because the line in Vegas went up to like 13.5
After the game?
Now, they were only favored, I think, by 17.5 over Miami at one.
Right.
Or Miami this year or earlier the Jets? I can't remember, but
you think 13 is too much?
It feels like a lot to me, doesn't it? You have one team coming off a bye, another team playing a short week. We know how talented the Browns are on offense.
How come nobody gets to Brady?
It's a great question. You know, he's smart enough to make sure that they run a lot of those underneath routes. I mean, so many underneath routes that Sam Darnold had to be watching that last night saying, why don't we have some of those, you know?
Do you think that players, because of the stature that Brady has, that they, I don't want to say lay off him, but they almost get to him and then the pass is thrown and you don't see late hits at all.
No, you don't.
Or questionable hits.
No, there were a couple of times that we saw him throw one like this out of bounds to make sure that he didn't get hit. We saw an intentional grounding on one. But yeah, he's clearly, he throws to his back so much and those underneath routes that I think he always feels like he has a safety valve if he gets in trouble.
But it reminds me of Robin Ventura when he was going after Nolan Ryan, and he got two steps out and say, that's Nolan Ryan. What am I doing? Am I stupid?
I don't think defensive linemen have that same feeling based on what they're paying people for sacks these days.
Do you remember that, though?
I do remember that, yeah.
He clearly said, oh, is that dumb? Then I'm even thinking of it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw with us, WKYC.com. Bud, before we get into talking about the Patriots and the Browns and World Series starting and all, Beth McLeod, the widow of Fred McLeod, and I'm having trouble saying the widow of Fred McLeod, but hard to get used to that. But she did something that I just thought was a classy thing. Yeah,
she, Fred was always said that you always have to have a good tie guy because he liked. He wore a lot of ties on air. I think there was a company that helped supply him with ties before each season.
He wore a different one every night?
I don't know if that's the case. Like Jordan used to wear a different pair of shoes, but he certainly had a lot of them. And, in trying to cope with what happened to Fred, she came up with what I think is this great idea, and she just shared those ties with people. Some colleagues, some friends that don't have anything to do with sports media. Not just Cavs and Cleveland people, but I know the Indiana Pacers TV guy got one from her. So, she sent these beautiful ties in the mail with a card saying that, in honor of Fred, she would like everybody to wear this tie. If not at the opener, the Cavs opener, if you're not going to be there, then at some other event.
Right, go to a wedding, go to something.
Yeah, or whatever it is, whether it's at the field house or I still have trouble saying field house, but or somewhere else. So it was a really, beautiful gesture, and I'm sure it's going to be something that helps her cope with this. She was on the air this last couple of days for the first time since then, and I know that couldn't have been easy for her.
Did you get a nice tie?
I did get a very nice tie, and she sent me a note saying that it was one of her favorites. So
come on, she had to say that to everybody.
I can't say that.
No, that was a classy thing.
It's funny, I obviously I would see Fred at Cavs games, but I knew him more from golfing with him out at Avon Oaks and on the west side, and it was. It was always a really kind and sincere and genuine guy.
Yeah, and it's got to be tough for Beth, and our thoughts are with her and the family. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Email during the show, as I mentioned a moment ago, at real-les-levine@gmail.com. All right, a couple of things going on. The World Series.
Wait a second, by the way. Why are you calling the Houston Astros cheaters? Are you buying into the Trevor Bauer thing that they were...
Yeah,
doctoring balls to get better spin, using pine tar and
and stealing signs.
Well, here's what I actually do agree with you.
Okay.
But technically, Major League Baseball, when the Astros played the Indians in the playoffs, there was a
front office
civilian kind of looking guy in a shirt and tie.
And where was he,
and
Bud?
A camera phone. He was in the photographer's bay.
Which is basically part of the dugout.
Shooting pictures in the dugout.
Why?
Now, here's his story.
And
apparently he's sticking to it. Because when the Indians complained, and then later the Boston Red Sox complained in the next round, they were told by Major League Baseball that the Astros were spying on them to make sure they weren't spying on the Astros.
Oh, that is the turnaround double, whatever.
But whatever reason, baseball didn't.
So wait a minute, hold on.
Didn't fine them or penalize them in any way.
So they were actually going after Cleveland.
They were making sure that there weren't any monitors in their dugout, supposedly.
And you think it was up to him to do that?
No, I don't at all. But I'm just telling you what they told Major League Baseball.
So maybe if he had told Major League Baseball, they might have handled it in a different way, and I wouldn't have called them cheaters.
There was a question earlier in the Yankees series that the Yankees felt that somebody in the Houston dugout was tipping pitches to Houston hitters by whistling.
Well, that's okay. There's some cheating that's okay.
And you're in favor of that part.
Well, Bob Feller, the greatest Indian of all time, what did he bring back from World War II? From the boat that he was on, he's got the magnifying glass, which they put out in the center field bleachers, the scoreboard, and they cheated basically. But that's in the 40s, for God's sake.
Teams don't do that anymore. Now the cheating is much higher tech than that.
Forget all that stuff.
All right.
What do you think about the upcoming series? We'll talk about it more in depth later, but do you like the matchup?
I do. I think Houston is obviously the better team, but I am rooting for the Washington Nationals for many reasons that involve Verlander and the way he acted toward media earlier this year, and some other stuff that's going on in that organization.
How about that their fans haven't won a World Series since 1924?
That also. Yeah.
Puts Cleveland to shame, 1948.
I remember going to a couple of, when my parents were traveling on business, and we got to go to Washington, D.C., and I remember seeing Frank Howard play back in the
Washington
day
Monument.
Yeah. Long time ago.
Long time ago. He was a terrific basketball player for Ohio State, if you could imagine that. Bud Shaw with us tonight. He'll get to his commentary in a moment. This segment of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by the Ohio Lottery. All right, let's get going. Time for an opening comment from Bud Shaw. What do you got?
I'm really intrigued by this whole Patriots start to this season, because I think this looks like, even though they've had all kinds of issues offensively, it looks like it could still be one of their best teams. Bill Belichick.
Did I hear undefeated?
Well, I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, everybody. That's going to be really hard to do, I think. It's amazing that
they did
it once. But Bill, what did I just call him?
Easy for you to say. Belichick.
Old Coach Bill seems to be coming full circle, just not like Browns fans might hope. I mean, it's doubtful he'll end up his head coaching career where it started. That would be nice, though. But quite possibly he'll bring it to a close with a smothering defense once again serving as his signature dish. The Patriots, who play the Browns on a short week, are undefeated after Monday's 33-0 win over the Jets in New Jersey. intercepted Sam Darnold 4 times and forced him to fumble once. And now they get a quarterback in Baker-Mayfield who leads the league in interceptions. And the Browns have 2 things going for them, in my mind. They're rested after a bye, and I can't think of the other thing. No, okay. To be fair, I can. They're sandwiched between a Monday Night Football game and an away game in Baltimore for the Patriots. The Patriots' bye then comes after the Ravens game. The question is, could they be weary or less focused against the Browns? The answer is that you better hope so.
You think they'll be, what you didn't ask is if they'll be tired from end zone celebrations.
Yeah, that might be. I heard Belichick today on that conference call say that the Browns are way ahead of the Patriots in preparing for this game.
Well, all right, can I give you a little secret?
Yeah.
Okay.
Belichick says that every week?
Well, that's another secret. That's another dirty, dark secret. Even in his first stint here, and I had an extensive meeting with him. It was supposed to be a 45-minute meeting, and it turned out to be 3 hours, and it was in February. And they were already preparing for teams they were going to play week 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah,
so don't give me that.
I have no doubt that they circle the short weeks on their calendar every season, and they put in extra work ahead of that
exactly.
to make up for this.
I mean, Urban Meyer even told me a couple of weeks ago that people sort of knew, but they never got caught at it, that they would prepare for something for Michigan every day they practiced.
I believe that.
Okay,
I doubt that the Patriots are preparing for something from the Browns every day they practice, but there's enough there that he doesn't miss much. And you can. Did you see the series of plays in last night's game where he wants more room to punt, so he takes a delay of game,
and they don't accept it.
They decline the penalty. He then lets it run all the way down, and he has a guy false start. They decline that penalty. Right. And finally, he's standing there with a smirk on his face. Yeah. But what it allowed him to do was use up like a minute and a half of the clock.
Right. The clock is moving.
And he admitted today. He said, "Hey, it's a loophole, and I made use of it, and I'll do it again." So
Michael Lombardi, who was with the Browns at the time of this infamous meeting that I had, and by the way, his son is on the Patriots payroll too as a coach.
I saw a name
and
like that.
And 2 Belichick's sons are also there. But the job, you know what Michael Lombardi's job was that day. I don't know what his title was.
To get you out of there in less than 45 minutes?
No, to bring in chocolate chip cookies.
And then he rose to become GM here?
Yeah, he might have been assistant GM when he brought in the cookies. And I'll tell you what.
They were good?
As you know, there's no such thing as a bad chocolate chip cookie. Right?
Yeah. The only thing better would have been a bag of potato chips.
Yeah. Well, you could. Yeah, that's true. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. Did you know that there are $6.25 million paid out by the Ohio Lottery pick games every week? With that kind of winning, stop by your local retailer and try your luck with Pick 3, Pick 4, and Pick 5. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. We'll get to some of your comments a little bit later. Coming up, can the Browns overcome the Patriots' defense? We'll see about that. Mohamed Sanu joins the Patriots also. I don't think, will he be ready this week?
That'll be pretty tough order, I would think.
All right. And, we'll take a look at that and more when we get back. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This segment of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Jimmy Fox, born in this state, wound up living in Lakewood. Fox Field out there, played on it numerous times back in the Sandlot days. Pete Pijos, he was an Eagle, wasn't he? Eagle receiver, I believe.
I thought you were making that name up.
No. Len Denier, that one I'm making up, 1947. Drazen Petrovic, Ichiro Suzuki, and Robinson Cano. I loved watching Ichiro Suzuki bat. Did you have a problem with him?
Not at all. Did you?
No, but what I am thinking about, and I haven't thought about this in years, and you tell me how many years ago it was, when Bert Grafe imitated Ichiro. Yeah. Ichiro decided at one point not to face the news people.
Yeah, apparently Bert tried to approach him in a clubhouse to interview him, and Ichiro conducted the entire interview faced the other way. So Bert got a great interview at the back of Ichiro's head.
Bert came on the show that night,
and he did his.
And he sat backwards.
Yeah, he did his rendition of that interview. It was pretty good.
You don't want to know what Bob Feller said about Ichiro. And I'm not
or
a
lot of other people.
And I'm not going to tell you until the break.
Or a lot of other people, yeah. No, I didn't have any. You know, listen, I know people saw him come into the league and were questioning whether he should be eligible for Rookie of the Year and all that stuff.
Right, after about 8 years in the Japanese league.
But I love watching guys like that hit. I just think they've turned it into a pure art form.
Then when he played in AstroTurf Fields, he was unstoppable.
Yeah. He played till how old?
I want to say 42.
Is he still playing somewhere now?
Oh, he's probably. Not in the majors, but somewhere.
How about the fact that Tom Brady is still playing at 42 and doing that, and throwing the ball? Like,
does he look like he's losing anything?
All these pitchers get arm issues and they lose speed on their fastball and all. He still looks like he throws the ball as, I don't want to say, I'm sure he doesn't have the same velocity, but he throws it pretty well.
He does, and plus he's throwing it all week in practice, unless they may cut it down, but he's throwing a lot of balls.
20 years with Belichick.
And they don't. It doesn't appear that they're making contingency plans.
Well, you know, we know for a little while there, Belichick kept arguing, not arguing, but he would claim that he was not going to trade Garoppolo. That was not going to happen. That was never going to end. And they did turn around and trade him.
Right.
And maybe because Brady saw that as a threat. I don't know.
And Brian Hoyer seemed to be the favorite guy for a while.
And they've had some good. I mean, look at Jacoby Brissett now is playing so well for Indianapolis. That's, when we get back to the Browns, Les, this is what. I know people look and they go, well, they had a tough schedule. They've had a tough schedule, and the schedule gets much easier. And I say, yeah, you're right. They have. But look at a couple of the teams that have faced real adversity. New Orleans Saints losing Drew Brees, losing a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Correct.
And, fortunately for them, they had Teddy Bridgewater, and they haven't missed a beat. The Indianapolis Colts lose Andrew Luck. And fortunately, they have Jacoby Brissett. But
how much better would they be if they had Luck now? Same thing, right?
Probably. Yeah. But those are situations where those teams could have said, wow, we lost our starting quarterback. And yet they've excelled. Whereas this team has had their starter, has had good talent on offense, has only lost Njoku, really, offensively.
How about thinking back not that long ago that the Browns actually went through 5 quarterbacks in a season? Think about that.
Yeah, well, the one stat that I kind of laughed about, and because I used it, I said Baker Mayfield, when he had 11 interceptions, it was the most interceptions any Browns quarterback had thrown through 6 games since Paul McDonald, right? And then the more I thought about it, I was like, probably because most Browns quarterbacks haven't lasted 6 games as a starter. Half of them were replaced.
How would you get to stay in a game long enough to throw 6 interceptions? Wouldn't you be asked to sit down for a while?
Well, what do you mean 11 interceptions?
No. You said McDonald.
Yeah. he hadn't thrown 11. That was 11 interceptions is the most through 6 games.
Oh, 6. Okay, 6 games
since Paul McDonald. So, but hey, Darnold came close last night. I thought he was going to throw 5 or 6, and every one of them was horrible mechanics, thrown off his back foot against defenses that he didn't understand. Did you see the quote when they had him mic'd up?
Yes.
I mean, how many guys admit that where they're sitting on the bench and he says, "I'm seeing ghosts out there"?
I thought he was kidding, but
no, I mean, I'm sure
he's
maybe he's trying to be a little funny, but I think he's admitting that, he's seeing a rush where the rush isn't really coming, and he's getting rid of the ball without, being set. And he was really spooked by that defense and what they were doing to confuse him. And that coach has a tremendous record against first and second year quarterbacks. He's done it his whole career.
Tell me how Darnold's hair stays the way it does under his helmet.
I was about to tell you the same. I bet.
Well, I'm not wearing a helmet. I don't take a helmet off at the break. All right, New England trades second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. Let's take a look at what Mohamed has done. 33 catches, 313 yards, 9.5 yards per reception, and 1 touchdown. Gave up a second rounder.
I think he's a perfect fit for them, whether he'll be able to contribute a lot, this week or not. Certainly, there'll be an opportunity to. They still won't. I don't think they'll get Gordon back. He's out. Josh Gordon out with a knee and an ankle. If they don't, look at who he's throwing. This is the other thing about that team.
Well,
he's throwing to Edelman, who's good, obviously, very good. But Philip Dorsett, a young guy that I don't even remember his name from last night. And their running backs are Sony Michel and James White. I mean, it's not like
average at best.
It's not like they're handing the ball to Nick Chubb 25 times a game.
So the defense is pretty strong. However, on the conference call, did you hear him effusively? Is that a word? Mm-hmm. Effusively. Lauding, that's a word I know, Jamie Collins, who he got rid of, shipped him off to Cleveland, and says, I don't want to go back there again.
Yeah, that's the difference in organizations, right? They didn't think Collins was worth what he was asking for. They shipped him to Cleveland.
Right.
Cleveland immediately extended him, even though he hadn't done anything there at all. He played not great at all for the Browns. And then he ends up back in New England playing probably the best football of his career.
Over and above the Call of Duty to talk about how well he's doing.
That's why I think in the salary cap era, we tend to underrate the organizational strength of some of these Baltimore, New England, Seattle. Because you're only going to be really, really good on one side of the football in most years because of the cap.
Unless you're Ohio State this year.
Well, that's
that's college.
I don't think they pay. Well, I wouldn't say that. They do pay players in college. We just don't know about it.
Good move on your part, no question about that. All right, but the defense, how good is the Patriots' defense? Let's take a look at it. This includes last night's game, giving up just 7 points a game. 223 yards a game, passing yardage 148, rushing yardage 75, and turnovers a total of 22.
Wow. Wow, that's nature stuff.
Wow, that is nature stuff.
Those points per game, when you think of the points per game and the fact that they've only played 7 games, what is that? Not doing great math, but I think they've given up 48 total points for the year.
Yeah, that would be it.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct has 3 great locations in North. They don't have North, but they have everything else. They have East and West and South. South one, of course, in Macedonia. Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid and West 140th Street. That is in the old, that's on the west side on the way toward the airport off 480. And it's just a terrific place. 3 huge bare-bone warehouses filled with some of the same stuff you're going to find elsewhere, except for one thing. You're going to pay half price or even less than half price. The bottom line is nobody is going to touch their everyday savings or quality. So if you want nice, big-ticket items to improve your home and you want to pay half of what most people pay, you've got to go to Northeast Factory Direct or northeastfactorydirect.com. Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, post time 6 p.m. Then you got Saturday and Sunday with the post time at 6:40. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from all over the world. Weekly Sunday contest featuring Belmont Top Prize $500 in cash each and every week. Lady Luck's Clubhouse open every Saturday with a buffet, just $15.95. Call 330-467-4101 for reservations. Free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. We're going to come back in a moment. The Browns apparently making some changes to the offensive line. We'll check that and more when we get back with Bud Shaw. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Oh, gosh. Playing Ohio Lottery Pick 3, I see. What are you going to do? A box bed, a split pairs, or a wheel? Well, old Picky Ricky here is a straight shooter.
Okay.
It razzes my berries when newbies think betting's hard. Straight bets are easy peasy. Just match 3 numbers in order and win the old-fashioned way. This, on the other hand, is not so simple. Oh, God. Oh, jeez Louise. Play the Ohio Lottery Pick 3 today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
But our in-house writers came up with this one. How come the 1972 Miami Dolphins won't know what to do if the 2019 Miami Dolphins don't win a game? Do they still drink the champagne, or?
Yeah, but it's really bad champagne.
It's
like they don't do champagne, but they do Mad Dog 2020.
they give them bad champagne because they had a very, very bad year?
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't that be something?
Hey, there could be two. Well,
there could be.
Does Cincinnati must play Miami?
I think they play each other.
Okay.
If the Browns play them, Cincinnati most probably plays them.
Yeah.
So you could have, so you're saying if you have a really, they could take away the title. I mean, Hugh Jackson didn't have to have that very long, that mantle.
The winless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, I think of those teams that are left on the Browns' schedule, I know we tend to look at all of them and say,
Arizona's better than we thought.
Arizona's already, whatever you think of Cliff Kingsbury, he's 3-3-1.
Yep.
If you only go by records, I mean, he's got a better record than Freddie-Kitchens so far.
Yep.
And they have to play him in Arizona.
Correct.
They still have to play Buffalo, which is a good team. They're going to beat Miami. We know they're going to beat Cincinnati at home, we think. But the Cincinnati away game and a Pittsburgh away game are
not givens.
Not givens. I mean, it's this idea
it's
I think people are thinking like college football, like Ohio State fans, when they look at the schedule and go, win, 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 win. You can't do that in the NFL.
No, you can't. And you also see by about week 7 which are the phony teams and which are the good teams. Up until that time, you're basing what the teams did last year. Now you're saying, well, wait a minute, week 3, look what they did. Yeah,
and I think we can see and we can look at the Baltimore Ravens now after that Seattle game, and you don't have to say you think they're, an elite team. I'm not suggesting they are. But I think we can look at this instead of saying, well, the Ravens play all these tough teams and the Browns don't. The Browns are going to have to start playing better.
Right.
To win that division. It's going to have nothing. I mean, it's not going to be just a matter of the schedule. Like, wow, here comes Miami and they have to go play the Rams. If they can go out to Seattle and beat them the way they did, and that game wasn't that close in the second half,
right.
They could do that against the Rams. They could do it against San Francisco.
Here's the other thing, and I made this admission last night. Lamar Jackson, I think you have to consider him a legitimate NFL quarterback at this point.
I do too, and
which I didn't
we forget that
now.
He's 23 years old, and for all the we gave Baker-Mayfield at the end of last year the benefit of the doubt. Not that he needed the benefit of the doubt, but just saying, hey, he's going to get better too, right? He's going to get better, better, better. Well, why wouldn't Lamar Jackson? Well, he's not as naturally gifted at throwing the ball as Baker-Mayfield, but he's got a lot of other things going for him.
But even you can see teams are scheming for him, but he's still too quick and still gets out of it.
Yeah.
And by that time, he's not tired. Third quarter, the opponents
he's not the greatest passer in the league,
no.
but he had a couple drops by tight ends in that game against Seattle, or his numbers might have looked better. I know they didn't look that impressive.
All right, they're not making it official yet, the Browns aren't. Mary Kay Cabot pointed out earlier in the week that some changes are going to be made, most probably with Greg Robinson. So let's see if what the Browns are looking at as possible changes as they get set for this week's game. Justin McCray, talking about him going in for Greg Robinson. He's taken snaps at all positions. Look at that. Left tackle, right tackle, and center, all on Monday. Wow. You don't see that very often.
No. There's something going on with Greg Robinson that they don't, beyond performance. They don't think he's preparing well. They don't think the work ethic is there. There's something going on there that would make them consider a change this big going in against a team that's got the best defense in the league.
All right, Wyatt Tiller, who was acquired a couple weeks ago, there you see him. Will he go in for Eric Kush? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously they're hunting for something. Kitchens told us the other day that he's just looking for the best 5 guys to get out there and win one game. I mean, he's feeling it too. They go 2-5 now. Not that that's going to be a hot seat situation. I'm not saying it is, but
well, I'll tell you
they just need to win. I mean, he doesn't want that locker room getting any more. I don't want to say they're disillusioned, but he certainly doesn't want them getting disillusioned. He doesn't want them starting to question what they're doing. And at 2-5, if they play poorly again and are handled by the Patriots,
they've gotten blown out 3 times already.
Yeah.
All right, so here's why I don't think he's on the hot seat till the end of the season, because John Dorsey picked him, and maybe there's some questions about first-round picks that Dorsey's made, and if you throw on top of that the wrong coach, that doesn't look good for him either.
Yeah, and if you have questions about how he and Monken are getting along, about his play calling, about whether the job is too big, I think you and I disagree on this. You think that they should maybe take the play calling away in season and alleviate some of the stuff that's on his plate, where I think it would be maybe even more confusing to Mayfield and the offense by letting Monken suddenly start calling plays. But I think in the end of this season, you're going to see some big changes if they don't start
Here's what I said about
their capability offensively.
Because there would be questions about the coach, I actually said if you're going to make a change, do it after a win.
Yeah.
Make it look like Freddie gave it up instead of being forced out. And
I think if there was going to be a major change in that regard, we would have heard about it by now, early this week, and we haven't yet.
So we have a Facebook question of the day. Today's question is, what are you willing to give up for Trent Williams? My answer is nothing. But let's see what people had to say. Rick May says, I think Williams is in his 30s.
31.
I wouldn't go higher than a third-round pick, maybe a second at best. I'm in that camp. Eric James says nothing. The line is fine. Oh, really? They didn't give up a sack last week. Baker was rarely harassed. Has the line been perfect? No, but they've also faced some of the league's hardest D lines. Let them gel. Carl St. John says not a number 1. Callaway, Hilliard, Robinson, and a future number 2. Andy Mees says a combination of high-round draft picks, second or third, and players could deal either Callaway or Higgins, since the Browns are loaded with wide receivers on paper. What's the Higgins deal, too? That's questionable. Scott Matthews says he's holding out, a second-rounder only. Kevin Price, Callaway or Hilliard, and a third-round pick. Gerard Morelli, third-rounder and a sixth-rounder. Trent Harrop, chicken nuggets. I don't eat them anyway. Can't argue with that.
Well, you have to take into account that he hasn't played since last December.
Right, and he doesn't play full seasons.
Right, and he has been injured the last few years, and he's 31.
And he's 31.
To give up talented players and draft picks, I think that would be way too much.
I would agree with that. If you didn't have to give them up, I'd give them a shot, but not giving up the farm for that. Explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future at Tri-C. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information on Tri-C. We'll come back in a moment. Odell Beckham gets fined. I'm starting to think they are after him. Agree or disagree?
I have a bone to pick with that.
Oh. All right, let's pick some bones when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine with Bud Shaw, exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Today in sports history, October 22nd, 2016. Remember Baker-Mayfield? He threw 7 touchdown passes. Oklahoma beats Texas Tech 66-59, throwing for 545 yards as the two teams combined for a total of 1,708 total yards. Wow. That's pretty good even when you're playing with the wide receivers, the 1963 Chevy on the...
Remember when college football was 3 yards in a cloud of dust in a lot of places?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No more. Not even in the Big Ten.
Not even where 3 yards in a cloud of dust was invented.
Exactly.
216-575-0403. This portion of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Bud Shaw is with us. All right, Odell Beckham Jr. gets fined $14,037 for pants not covering his knees. And it says we'll show a graphic, and I wonder if that means we'll show a graphic picture of it. $14K for pants that are not going to protect me from anything. That's just whatever. Ridiculous.
So should he be able to wear shorts then if he wants?
He's going to get fined.
Listen,
well, this is the NFL, the clothing police,
and
right?
I like it.
You like what? That there's a clothing police?
I like the uniform look. I think
hence the word uniform.
I think the NFL has a very polished look when those guys are on the field, and I think I like it. So if you can't adhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the standards, that's your problem. Not all of a sudden he's put upon because he gets fined $14,000 for not doing something that every other guy in the league is doing. And the ones who aren't might be getting fined too, but they're not on Twitter crying about it.
And there's another thing. It goes to the youth, it goes to the adults, it goes to a lot of people in a lot of places that they know the rules, they break the rules, then they blame the rule.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's the biggest, most important rule, but
rule.
They like their players to look a certain way on the field. Would you like these guys if they just started wearing, some of them were wearing long sleeve stuff, some of them had leggings all the way down and their pants pulled up? I mean, I don't think it doesn't look as good.
I don't like the defensive linemen with their shirts tucked out.
There we go. The untucked shirt.
The untucked shirt.
I thought you were on the other side of this. That's why I was getting a little lathered up. I don't even have anybody to argue with.
Are you old enough to remember Roseanne
Yes, I can already.
Rosanna?
You don't have to say what it is, and the answer is yes.
Roseanne Dana.
Yes, I'm old enough for that.
On Saturday Night Live, she always had a letter from Richard Fader from somewhere in New Jersey, right? The same name.
Right.
We have Ron on our voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Okay, let's see what he has
Let's
to say.
listen to see what Ron has to say.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Bayer. Hey, Les, my biggest disappointment as a Browns fan is #1 defensive line. We thought they were going to be dominant, which would help the linebackers as well as the defense backs excel at their craft. One defensive player who has done a great job is Schobert. #2, offensive line. Disappointing, but not a complete surprise. So my third disappointment is Freddie-Kitchens. He's trying to make everyone happy, and it's not working. Go back to the Baltimore game plan. Quick offense, get the ball out of Baker's hands as quick as possible with the running game and the short passes, which will help the whole team to excel and start winning.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. Or Richard Fader from New Jersey, whoever that was.
All right.
Well, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but how do you go 3 issues and not mention Baker Mayfield? He's not been good this year.
Good point. And also,
it's not all game planning.
They're
it's
also
him.
second in running offense.
Yeah.
So the line is doing something.
You know, you had somebody answer the Facebook question by pointing out that Baker Mayfield was not sacked last week, and I don't think took a quarterback hit. Is that right?
I think that is correct.
Or at least wasn't knocked down, I guess. And I'm not absolving the offensive line because I don't think it's a real talented group, but I do think that he's made matters worse in the way he's played this year.
What is he doing?
I don't think, and I think Dorsey talked to this a little bit. I don't think he's stepping into the pocket. You know, they talk about quarterbacks climbing the pocket. He doesn't, like when he's feeling pressure, he's not stepping up, which, you know, might bring some defenders toward him, worried about the fact that he could scramble.
Are they making a big deal that they don't want him rolling to the right, and as a result, he's not doing all the other things he should be doing?
Well, I know that they don't want him immediately vacating the pocket and rolling right. Because he's got a great arm, and he's probably capable of throwing back across his body, but it's just not the best thing to do in the middle of the field.
I don't remember him last year rolling right all the time.
I know there were occasions, but I think what he did, and I sound like I'm, I'm studying film. I'm not studying film, but just a general feeling of what he did last year was that he would step up in the pocket, and then he would move either left or right, but sometimes right. This time it feels to me like he's almost exclusively feeling pressure and running to the right. And I don't know how replacing Greg Robinson with a guy who hasn't played much left tackle against the New England Patriots is going to make him feel any more secure in the pocket.
And he hasn't played with Baker Mayfield, so you don't know which way to block once the movement of the pocket starts happening.
Yeah, I don't know that this is the week to do wholesale stuff. I think Mayfield has to get better. I also don't think he's been great accuracy-wise. I know Dorsey defended him on that front the other day, but he just hasn't looked like the same guy to me.
And he's had some drops turning into interceptions.
Yeah, but some of those interceptions to me were also, balls that were thrown behind receivers that he didn't do last year.
Yeah, that's his fault. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, east and west as well as south. South in Macedonia, then you got Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, West 140th Street. Just 3 huge bare-bone warehouses filled with the same stuff you're going to find at other stores, except you're going to pay half price or even less than that. The bottom line is nobody is going to touch their everyday savings or their quality, all at our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. Sokolowski's University Inn, one more Saturday in the month of October, and that's coming up a couple of days from now. That means only one more chance for you to have the best clam bake in town. They start at 4, they stop at 9, and they would like you to call, let them know you're coming so they make sure they have everything for you. 216-771-9236. The 45th annual Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn clam bake every Saturday in October, only one left, and that comes up this coming Saturday. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. And by the way, Sokolowski's University Inn, the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, only 5 in the country get it each and every year. We'll come back in a moment. I understand the World Series is starting tonight. Have you heard?
Greatest sport ever from what I hear.
As far as I'm concerned, it is. We'll take a break, come back in a moment. We'll read over some emails from Richard Fader. More sports and less. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Where was he from?
Somewhere in there.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
All right, this date in Les-Levine history, October 22nd, 1958. Les wonders how it can be called the World Series when only countries from North America can play.
You were an inquisitive kid.
I was to a fault. So you did some extensive research to find out where Richard Fader is from.
Yeah, he was always from Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Fort Lee, New Jersey, where my fraternity brother Richard Lewis was from.
Is his real name Fader?
No.
You know how those actors and comedians change their names?
It was Richie Lewis when I knew him.
Was it?
Does he look like he'd be a Richie?
No, he's a really funny guy, by the way. Was he that funny in college?
He was funny, but if you put 5 guys from that fraternity house in a line and said one of them will have a 50-year career in comedy,
you would have been one of them.
I would have been one of them, but he wouldn't have been. But he was a terrific guy, no question about that. All right. 2019 World Series getting underway in about an hour and a half or so. What do you think?
I think Houston's just that team that has too much experience and too much pitching. And
they've been there, done that. Or doesn't that matter at this point?
No, I think it does matter, yeah. I mean, they were there 2 years ago. The Nationals certainly weren't. You know, what I like about the Nationals is that they did it a year after losing what's his name?
Bryce Harper. Yeah.
And, you know, that's
why...
They
showed them.
Well, I mean, it's just that's the kind of game baseball is, and that's why when people beat up owners for letting guys go that are going to cost $400 million...
What do they give you?
You know, they're going to give you a lot sometimes, but is it going to be enough? And could you use that money in other avenues? And the Nationals did exactly that.
Another thing that shows you how good the game of baseball is LeMahieu hits the home run, ties it up in the top of the ninth, and you figure you still have 3, 4, and 5 coming up. You figure New York is going to score, right? I did.
Yeah.
I figured they're totally disheartened. They were ready to put the hats of the World Series hats on, and then somehow they stop them, and then they go out. The first 2 batters go out, then they get a walk, and then Altuve, who's my favorite player of not all time, but right now. That ball was crushed, and it was against Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to bring up, speaking of Aroldis Chapman, I hate to bring up a bad memory, but you had that same feeling when the Cubs lost the lead with Rajai Davis hitting the home run, and you thought, oh, there's no way they come back from this, not given all they've listened to for years about...
In Cleveland.
Yeah, and it's in Cleveland, and then suddenly the rain comes, and 15 minutes later, we know what happens.
Okay, you put out an all-points bulletin for this gentleman, and we found him.
Is it Lawrence C. Butler?
It's not Lawrence C. Butler, nor is it Richard Fader from Fort Lee, New Jersey. It is, however, Devin from Concord.
He's on the line?
What's up, guys?
Where have you been?
Oh,
You just got a computer?
Schedule's been crazy, you know. I mean,
well,
kids are little, they're going there, they're going there, you know. How
block
it goes.
out 6 to 7 on Mondays, for goodness sakes. Come on.
I know, it's nuts. I mean, I'm not getting home till 9, like Monday through Thursday,
Okay.
literally.
And you're about to tell me that you archive us and watch it all the time. I know.
No, I do watch it at nighttime when I'm, yeah. That and a few other things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. So you do have a computer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, so how you guys been? Good?
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know Richard Lewis was really, that's hilarious. That guy's great.
Yep.
So he wasn't even that funny?
No, he was funny,
like, hilarious?
No, he was funny, but he never said, I think I'm going to go out and be a comedian.
Look, Devin, Les is just trying to say that he was the funny guy in college, and he just doesn't want to come out and say it.
I just never got funny after. He like a late bloomer in baseball.
You peaked.
You peaked too early.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, remind me sometime, call me earlier when Bud's on one night, and I'll tell you how Richard got started in it. It's a fabulous story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what, you just call the same line earlier then?
No, I don't mean real early. I mean a couple minutes early.
Yeah. Like when he has more than 9 minutes or 8 minutes to talk about it.
Yeah, that too. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of, I was a Matt LaFleur guy, at the beginning when we were looking for coaches. And I liked Greg Williams a lot, when we were looking for coaches. I mean, didn't we go 5-2 the last 7 games?
Yeah, I think
he never had a chance.
Well, I mean, I think Devin's saying, why not? Why didn't he?
Right. I mean, and the other thing is...
I don't know, he just didn't.
Yeah, and that's alarming, to be honest with you, because he took that mess called Hugh Jackson, that was a disheveled mess, and just literally turned it into a disciplined team. I mean, this team is so undisciplined, unorganized, unprepared. It's shocking.
It started in Game 1 with all those penalties in Game 1.
And still getting penalties and then getting blown out. Like, it's almost as if, like, that San Fran game, like, didn't you know what was coming? Oh, yeah. Hey, they run it a little bit. I mean, weren't you ready for that?
Well, when the previous caller said that he was disappointed most in the defensive line, I didn't know if he was talking about pressure on quarterback. But certainly from a stopping the run standpoint, this team has been not good at all. I mean, those two games, San Francisco and Seattle, I think they allowed 445 yards rushing. And I know some quarterbacks got some of that, but they didn't get a lot of it.
And then there's 2 elephants in this room, right? And I'm going to go over it
Which one? This one here?
The one elephant would be Baker-Mayfield, and then the other elephant is John Dorsey. Okay. So,
they're tied at the hip, aren't they?
Yeah. So, and when you think about it, I mean, Bud, you brought it up. I mean, no one wants to, I don't think, talk about it. That, he's regressed. Like it's funny you say Darnold was seeing ghosts against New England. Baker's going to be seeing haunted houses out there against New England next week. I mean, because they're going to confuse him like no other. And the thing that is alarming, and it goes, now this is where it goes back to Kitchens, okay? You have to, like you guys talked about New England, right? I mean, Edelman, they scheme him open, They scheme their running backs open. They use mismatches. They'll get Edelman on a linebacker, and they'll scheme him open.
Yeah, that's why they're good.
Yeah, and
you'd think
it's a 7-step drop.
Yeah, you would think everybody could do it.
Drop.
Wouldn't you think everybody could scheme it that way? But they don't.
No,
I mean, they're
don't.
all football minds. They should be able to.
Right, and then and the other thing is he doesn't do that. It's a 7-step drop. He's got 5 wide, and he thinks he's got Dan Marino back there.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Devin,
then the other thing, as far as Dorsey goes, real quick, the thing about Dorsey is like he got rid of Danny Shelton, who's playing well. He got rid of Jason McCourty over there, who's playing well, and Jamie Collins. He
got three starters.
And then the other thing is like this Callaway Higgins thing. Like he won't play. It's like he's not letting Higgins get out there because he's a Sashi guy and Callaway's his guy. I mean, what's going on?
There's something else to
There's
that.
Something going on there that between Kitchens and those guys. I don't think Kitchens is giving in to Dorsey if he really wants a guy to play.
Devin, I got to get going. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for the call. As always, catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. post time and 6:40 post time on Saturday and Sunday. Open early every day for simulcast action from all over the world. The weekly Sunday contest features Belmont. You can win the top prize of $500 cash each and every week. It's free parking, free admission every day at Northfield Park. We'll come back. We'll check out some How Come Quickies and more. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here from WTAM Radio. I got to get used to where all you guys are from.
Yeah.
You can
None of us
follow
can hold a job. That's why
Paul
we keep
Hoynes will be
around.
here on Thursday. Then Doug Maurice will join us on Monday. You can see us live from 6 to 7, Monday through Thursday, and Dave Bacon Show on Friday. And then you can archive us all day, all night. Marianne, isn't that the song? Facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. With new content posted each and every day. All right, you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Already an 8.0 for what?
Well, this is what like the figure skating judges do, right? If you go first, they have to downgrade you a little bit because they have to leave room.
Sure.
So no matter which one you're going to read first.
Well, I'm going to move this over. I have real questions.
Maybe this is way too high. Oh, that one?
That's okay.
0.8.
Just an impression. This is from Cleveland Bill. If Baker-Mayfield is inaccurate Sunday, it's not going to be pretty. That's not hard to agree with. These aren't quickies. That's not a quickie.
When are we getting to the quickies?
In a minute. I got another email from somebody, Tom Randazzo. Very interesting in seeing what Kitchens comes up with as we face the Patriots. The game plan should for us to run the Patriots-style offense on them. We have playmakers put in the ball in the hands of a heavy dose of Nick Chubb, then mix in Baker-Mayfield rolling out. One of his strengths is his ability to throw on the run. Having said that, look for Freddie to continue to force Beckham going deep, playing right into New England's hands. You agree? You disagree?
Well, I think what Adam Gase did in that game last night was almost criminal. I mean, he had a quarterback that was completely flustered, and yet they didn't have any of those underneath routes that the Patriots use all the time. I mean, you have to give a guy a chance to pick up some easy completions and get his confidence back.
Yeah, and
instead, he was holding the ball, waiting for guys to get downfield. I mean,
yeah, when you see the easy completions, you say, why don't they do that all the time?
Yeah, and I'm sure the defenses are trying to take some of that stuff away, and you can't do it exclusively, or you become that dink and dunk offense that can't, go vertical and expand the field.
All right, we got to get through these quickly here. Cleveland Bill says, how come one announcement can both floor a person and cause him to hit the ceiling? Already an 8.0.
Yeah, that's the one that starts us off.
How come although an optimist sees the glass as half full and a pessimist sees it as half empty, they both remain thirsty? This from Big Ed.
Okay, wait. No.
Oh, all right, what do you got? Oh, that's a real 8.1 just to beat the trial balloon. Big Ed says, how come the problem with kleptomaniacs is that they always take things literally? How come my therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance? Well, we'll see about that. Les, here's a word of advice to you also, Bud. Never under any circumstance take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night.
That's not a how come quickie there, so I'm not going to grade that.
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Gullible, ready for this?
Yeah.
How come when I went to see a genealogist, he said my gene pool could use some chlorine? He goes on to say, Richard Fader from Fort Lee, New Jersey, how come my horses are happy because they live in a stable environment?
It's a pun.
Pun is not going to do well.
Puns get downgraded.
John Patrick.
Okay.
First time this tonight. How come when I handed my dad his 50th birthday card, he said one card would have been enough? See, there's the combination of 50 years and then 50 cards, and he had a playoff on that.
Yeah, I'll
for
give him
a 9.0.
I'll give him a little credit for that. That was pretty good.
The competition wasn't that fierce tonight.
It was, I saw you go like this a couple of times, so I have a feeling that there were some that were just unprintable.
Last night was great. Threw them out, but they were great. Wish I had them. I want to do a book.
A book of how come quickies?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
I
do I have to get people to say they're not going to sue me if I use it?
I think I told you that I ran into a guy recently who is actually a few years older than me, and he has kept a T-shirt that he won, a How Come Quickie T-shirt that he won back in your WHK days.
Wow.
And he won it. Does this sound familiar to you? He says he won it for saying, how come Blackjack McDowell doesn't wear number 21?
Blackjack should wear 21. You're absolutely right.
That is, what I like best about that is that it is quick.
I got to go unless you have anything to add to the proceedings. That'll do it. The great Bud Shaw. Thank you, Bud. You can hear him on and read him on WKYC.com. I'll see you tomorrow night with the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Then Thursday, Hoynesy. Then Dave Bacon does his weekend winners on Friday. And then I've got Doug LeMaurice on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.